Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me for my weekly review of Kyoukai Senki, which I guess is now known as AMAIM Warrior at the Borderline. This week was episode 2, Voyage. So this is going to be a brief spoiler review and then I'll kind of get into my thoughts. But basically the plot kind of picks up a little bit after the end of the last episode. Amu's in the forest. He kind of has like a brief flashback to how he escaped the warriors from the end of the first episode. Basically, he pretended that his friends that had been captured by the police, he's like, oh, those aren't my friends. I'm a terrorist. I was just using them kind of like as a ploy to get them to be scot-free. Obviously, the police buy into this and kind of let his friends go, and he also escapes. His little AI buddy goes into some sort of like sleep mode so it could like process some data and improve the mech for a future battle. So Amu's kind of up to his own to find dinner. He finds like a field they're like up in the mountains or whatever. So he goes to steal a tomato where like this grumpy old man finds him and he's just like, oh, well, if you want food, you're going to have to work for it. So he basically makes him do hard labor all day, harvesting and planting vegetables, and gives him one tomato as payment for that. Though apparently the tomato is delicious. Eventually, the old man invites him to his house. We kind of find out that him and his wife had a son who died during the war. So obviously, they kind of see their son in Amu a bit. They're like, hey, you could just live with us. They eventually find out that he's a terrorist, but they're like, it's fine. We could tell that you're a good person. The police then kind of catch wind that he's at their house, and then he leaves. He then has to try to escape from the block that he's in to kind of avoid the police that are still sort of pursuing him and break into the next block. So we have a little bit of a battle there. We also find out that the block that he was in was the Oceania block, and the block that he's kind of entering now is the Asian block. They put up a good fight. They're military, so he's trying to fight them, and then another mobile suit kind of helps him by sniping one of the suits, and he goes like, six down, 6 seconds, to go or something like that, and then the episode ends. All in all, I think this was another good episode. Obviously, it's a little bit slower paced than the previous episode. After the first one, which kind of did a little bit of an info dump, which I think is kind of necessary for a first episode. This one was a little bit more of like character development and world building. And I think a lot of the stuff that they do does make sense. Obviously, since Japan was, forcibly taken over, it would make sense that, lots of people are distrustful of the governments that did take over. So it kind of makes sense that the old man, in the village would be like, okay, even though you're getting branded as a terrorist, I could tell from interacting with you that you're not just this like horrible guy. I think that does make sense. Again, it was kind of nice to just see some character building and something a little bit calmer. On one hand, I wanted to have another like very, very action heavy episode where the police are in pursuit of him. But on the other hand, that is definitely, kind of more of like a mech show trope at this point. So it's nice to see them kind of go off the beaten path a little bit. And then I thought that the battle at the end was really cool. It was fast paced. I thought it was interesting. One thing that was kind of nice was that like he just didn't go into his like Super Saiyan mode and use his special ability to just like kill all the enemies. He kind of had to try to think outside the box a little bit. And then at the end, he does get cornered, and it's like, okay, so he picked up this mobile suit for the first time yesterday, and he's not able to defeat an entire government army, even with the help of his AI. So I think that was refreshing. Obviously, we're starting to get some of the new characters, and this episode does end kind of like on a cliffhanger, so that's kind of nice. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. And also another thing was that I thought that this episode was just really, really well paced. The time just went by, whatever, it's like 22, 23 minutes. But before I knew it, the episode was over, so that's kind of about all I could ask. I would probably give this one again maybe like 7, maybe a little bit higher, 7.5 out of 10. I thought the animation was nice, the music was nice. Actually, the sound design during the battle was really cool. It kind of makes me look forward to getting this released on, Blu-ray or something where maybe it'll have like a nicer audio codec. But, definitely crank up the speakers for this one. And I think even more so than the last episode, I'm very interested to see where this one goes. Obviously interested in meeting the new characters. We are kind of so the Oceanic government is still kind of pursuing him, and we're kind of introduced to one of like the, kind of like cooler military guys. So definitely still interested in seeing what's going to happen. I think the one thing that I would like to see, hopefully sooner than later, is sort of establishing a goal for the main character. I mean, obviously it's only when we finish the second episode, he's still, in pursuit. But it would be interesting to kind of get at least a hint at, what we're trying to do here. And maybe that's going to happen. It's possible that maybe this new guy probably seems like he's more of a loner, but maybe he could be part of some resistance or something like that, and maybe give us, a bigger view into what else might be going on. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this review. I think that the new episodes are going out on Monday. I thought it was Tuesday, but I think now it's Monday, so these should continue to come up every Monday. Normally, this channel does a lot of figure unboxing, so please join me for that on Wednesday. And actually, this week, we're going to be looking at a Gundam Metal Robot Spirits 00 XN Riser plus 7 Sword plus GN Sword 2 Blaster set. It's actually a really cool figure, so please check that out and keep collecting.